Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Christy Bonner. I'm Vice President of DFW ATW, and we are so excited to start this new format. We've been looking for ways that we could reach out to our membership from a technical perspective online. So while we can't see your smiling faces, we know that you are there. So we are super excited for this new format. Join us each Friday for the month of April and probably beyond that for our Connect Friday. I've got Aries Webb Williams, our programs director, up on the top right. We've got our team here to support. I'm going to turn it over to Paula Phillips here in just a minute, who is our marketing director, bottom left, or maybe showing differently on your screen. And then, of course, our superstar guest today, Valerie Freeman, and Paula will introduce her. Just a quick housekeeping note. You will not be able to speak on the webinar. As we're playing with this new technology, we'll figure out the best forum for us to do this, but you should be able to ask a question. So look for a question control on your webinar, and we will save a few minutes for questions at the end. Also, we have a great program coming up next Friday, so watch our social media posts. That'll be posted out probably later over the weekend. So with that, I'm going to sign off of the video, and I'm going to turn it over to Paula to do our introductions and get us started.
Awesome. Thanks, Christy, and thanks, Aries. So I have the honor of welcoming Valerie Freeman. Valerie is the CEO of Imprimis, and she has had a wonderful 40-year career, almost. She's won several awards. As we know, she's recently won the Lifetime Achievement Award from Orby, and Valerie has seen a lot of ups and downs. She's been through a lot of things, and I think most of us know her very well and are so inspired by you, Valerie. So we're here to hear what you have to say of leadership through this time of crisis. So I'm signing off. You got it all to yourself. Thanks, Valerie.
All right, Paula. Well, welcome everybody. And I'm telling you, if I get through this downturn, I want a crown because this is a tough one. As you all know, I own a series of specialty staffing firms. So we're in the business of placing people, both temporary and full time. And I've been doing that for, as she said, almost 40 years. And I've been through recessions. I've been through bankruptcy of clients. I've been through all kinds of really terrible situations, and I've learned a lot from that. And so I'll share with you today what we're doing, excuse me, here at Imprimis to try to get through this. So the thing about crises is that you cannot be paralyzed. Some people get so upset and so anxious and depressed that they go into a free fall, and what I say is they stick their head in the sand and they hope it will go away. And I will tell you, it will not go away. And so you've got to act, and you act in the now and you plan for the future. Because as we all know, this isn't going to last forever. It may last longer than what any of us would like, but it will end at some point. So what do you do in the here and now when you can't predict the unpredictable? So as a CEO, and really you don't have to be a CEO to be a leader in your company. Many of you lead teams, and and you are in a position of authority. So what is your role? And my role as a CEO is to protect the company and the people in it, if at all possible. Number one, protect the company, because if the company goes away, it's going to affect a lot more people than otherwise. And then you need to act quickly. I learned in the recession after 9/11, I waited too long to make the cuts, to drop the expenses. I thought everything was going to be okay quicker than it was. And so it put the company in a lot worse place than if I had acted very quickly. So this time, when I saw that this was affecting, when I first saw that this was going on in China, I really didn't think too much about it until it started affecting New York. And then I knew it was going to be bad. And so we did have to have cuts. We did have to lay off some people. We had to furlough some people. I cut out every single expense that I could possibly cut out. The minute I heard about the $1 trillion program for the government, we applied for those loans that are out there, and there were some grants too. Applied for those, and then we started having. I started thinking about then, well, not just then, but all through this, is how to communicate with our staff. And of course, we were still, I guess for a while there, we were still coming to the office. And then when we realized how bad this was going to be, and we were going to send everyone home, which was okay for us, because if you're in technology, you probably have a lot of people working from just about anywhere. So we sent everybody home with their computers and their printers and all the stuff that they needed. And then we decided, well, how are we going to get out the communication? Because other than, or in addition to shoring up the company and deciding what you're going to do with certain staff people, then you have to start communicating. Well, you have to start communicating all along, but it becomes critical. And fortunately, in this day and age, you can communicate like we're communicating today. So we have Teams, we use Teams, Microsoft Teams, we use Zoom, and we have meetings every morning and every afternoon where we get together and we talk about what's been going on, what can we do, and we prioritize. It's called the highest and best use of time. So the highest and best use of time in the beginning, we decided, was obviously we had to talk to our clients, and we had to talk to our contractors, and we had to make arrangements for them to work at home, the ones where the companies are keeping them. We had to be very grateful and thankful to all these people, to our clients, and all those that did things for us. So we made little signs that said thank you, and we took pictures of ourselves and sent those all around, and we're keeping up with what can we do each and every day to make a difference. Highest and best use of time every single day. So it's something that each of you need to think about. If you're not the CEO, how do you motivate your team? How do you keep them in the game when everybody around them might be getting laid off or furloughed? And of course, everybody can apply for unemployment, but you see where that's going. I mean, it's just a mess. And so what are some of the ways that you can keep everybody's head in the game and really try to lift their spirits? So we send around, all this funny stuff that's going around, the cartoons and the sayings, and somebody sent me a picture, you might have seen it, of earrings now that are toilet paper rolls, and really funny things. Send those out, because you got to laugh. I mean, come on, if you're not laughing, you're crying. So you don't want to do that. You want to make everybody feel like let's liven the mode. Let's do some fun things online. So we have thought about all sorts of things that we can do to try to have some fun while we're in this mess, I call it, and trying to get through it. So the main thing you need to understand, and your employees need to understand, is it's not their fault. It's really no one's fault. And so if you start blaming, and you see a lot of that online with the politicians, everybody's blaming everybody. Well, there's no blame today. It's like that movie with Tom Hanks. There's no crying in baseball, or there's no crying in a pandemic. You got to figure out what to do and make it happen. And so this is where I think the creativity of your people and yourself come in to what can we do? What is there that we can do to make a difference? And our folks appreciate, I know Freeman Leonard sent out a number of free things, the Adobe conference, went online, and it's free. It was free. It was first of the week, and it cost $1,800 to go to that conference if they were to have it. But now it's free and it's online, so we sent that all out. There's a new Sirius XM radio is allowing you to log in and listen to music for free. So we sent that out. So we're trying to keep things moving and keep our name top of mind. So when things do start, excuse me, start to improve, then we have the opportunity to go in and hopefully improve our business. So so those are some of the things that you can do. You have to be empathetic, and you have to stay human. Everybody, well, you know, the people that have been with us a long time, you know, they're just great, and trying to make sure that they still feel worthy, and that they're still that they still feel valuable, because they are, even though they aren't doing as much as they obviously did a couple of months ago. They're still there, and they're still valuable, and we need to make sure that as a leader that you communicate that to your staff. And then, of course, back to communications, we try to let them know more than we ever have, actually. When business is really good, yes, you communicate, but boy, when things are bad, the communication has to be constant, has to be positive, but not sugar-coated. I mean, you don't want people to know, you want people to think everything is great and wonderful, and then the next day you have to lay everybody off, which is happening out there, as you can see. So sharing the big picture, what is going on in the company. I've told people we're kind of living paycheck to paycheck, in that we're collecting our cash from our clients, and we are filling the jobs that we have, not as many as we used to have. So so letting them know that, and letting them know where they stand, being honest about it is really, really important. And then, of course, you know, the positivity through hope. I mean, I have hope that this is going to be over in a few months, and it may not come back totally to where it was, but it'll come back at some level, particularly if we can go back to our offices. But right now, hope is not a strategy. So the strategy has to be, what highest and best use of time? What can we spend our time on? What can we do? For us, in the beginning, it was collections. I had to put all of my account managers on collections, because we had a number of companies that hadn't paid us, and sometimes it wasn't even their fault. That we sent the invoice to the wrong place, or they had a change in their own employees, and the right person didn't get it, and on and on. So we put a big emphasis on getting that money in, and that helped so much. And they were willing to do that. It wasn't their most fun thing to do, but they were willing and able to help us out in that regard. So what you need to do, if you're not the CEO, but you run a team, is keep your team really motivated by the fun things and the team meetings that you have every day. Hopefully you'll have them every day, maybe twice a day like we do. That might be a little overkill, but we seem to like it. And then make sure that that you don't come across too negatively. And I think that is really, really the key too. It takes, if you're the manager of your team, again, you're probably gonna be involved in some communication with your CEO and other executives about what it is that you can do. And then you all need to be willing to do whatever it takes, I guess is what I'm trying to say. In these times, you got to do whatever it takes. And if your head is still in the game, and you're doing whatever it takes, I know that your upper management will certainly appreciate it. I can tell you, I do. For those people that are going, this is what I'm going to do today, this is what I'm going to take care of, let's go. We're gonna get through this. Watch for signs of stress in your staff. For example, we've been working a lot day and some people into the evening. And so you got to give people a break. You got to take a break. I know I've been sitting at this computer screen way too much. And so I'm trying to take a little bit of a break every now and then to get away from it, to go take a walk, to do something other than watching this screen and working. The other thing that would help you is to identify new goals. For us, we are launching a new program. I'm not ready to say what it is right now, but we're real excited about it. So we've come together and we've come up with all these new ideas and new goals for the future. And that gets everybody excited too. And it's like, okay, we got to get through this. We got to get through this so that we can definitely come out of this in a good place. So, link all your today's actions, act for today, but link today's actions to a better future. And you need to inspire, greater effort, because you do need to have more effort. The thing about it is that right now, you're not, well, if you're in sales or whatever your job is, you're probably able to be more productive because there's what else is there to do. You're not driving back and forth to work. You're probably not going around visiting with your friends at work. So you tend to really do put forth more effort. But again, you can't just do that day after day, minute after minute. You've got to have some breaks and and really what it takes is resilience. I think some of you have maybe heard from speakers. There's lots of TED Talks on resilience, and it's really the key to getting out of any sort of hard times. You have to know that you're worthy. You have to know that there's a better future coming for you, and it is. But if you don't believe that, it's not going to happen. So you got to be real, you got to be humble, you got to be committed, you got to be asking for input. We've gotten some great ideas out of this, I have to say. I mean, it's a good idea a minute. Wish we could implement all of them now, but we are going to do whatever we can based on what we've been talking about for new ideas and new developments. So that's the good thing about this. Now then, after this is over with, then what do you do? Because you're going to have the shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff come up. Well, you should have done this. If you'd have done this, if you thought about this, and that is not productive. But what is productive is that you do sit and talk about what should we look for the future if something like this happens again? What other things could happen to us that would make us unprepared? And how do we look at that? What do we do? What are some of the things that we can do now for the future when this is over with? So I think it's really, really key that we don't get into this blaming shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff, because it's unproductive. And I tell you that you cannot predict the unpredictable. If I'd have thought, I was ready for a recession, but I certainly wasn't ready for this virus and it impacting so many people so negatively. So I'm not going to worry about that. What I'm going to worry about is acting for today, highest and best use of time, and then planning for when this is over with. So at this time, it's about 12:20, and we wanted to have some questions for me to answer if you have any. And so I think on your screen, you can raise your hand, and then Paula, you can ask I don't know how this is going to work, to tell you the truth, and ask me a question.
I'll go ahead if you want. If I don't know if Paula can see them. This is Aries. I do see there's a poll that's being asked to the attendees right now. If you guys will go ahead and answer that quick poll, And then I will see what questions we got coming in, Valerie, and ask them for you if you like. I see one right now, so. All right. Hopefully everybody answered the poll. All right, we got 50%
Oh,
people who are currently members. All right, so one of the questions that I see in here is from Christy Smith, and she asks, what is one of the most creative ideas you've done with your team to keep them motivated that seemed to work well?
um, well, one of the things we did is that I think I might have mentioned it briefly, but we're all on teams, right? We can see each other. And so we did our little sign that said, thank you. And then I took pictures of everybody, and then they sent that out to their clients, and they got a really, really sweet and nice response from so many people. And that made them feel good. Here's something else that we're going to do. We have a birthday coming up with one of our team members, and we're going to do a drive-by birthday. So we're going to get in our cars, and each of us in our own car, and we're going to go drive by her house, and we're going to throw out a card, and we're going to honk our horns, and we're going to say happy birthday. So just fun little things like that can really raise spirits and make people feel like they can get through this situation that we're all in.
That's cute. I've seen a lot of people doing that too. I'm gonna need it myself, Valerie. Mine's coming up.
Well, we also steal ideas from other people that we see.
Exact
From doing
leverage. We're
online.
leveraging. We're leveraging.
We're not too proud to rip them off.
Exactly. I see one in here that's asking tips for job seekers in this environment. Any tips you have for people seeking?
Oh, goodness. Well, the best thing you obviously can do is let everybody in your network know what you're looking for, what you can do, what you're looking for. And I would be open to anything a lot of it's work from home. So, and that's catching on a lot. So you can say, when you're telling everybody that you have, a home office and you have all the equipment to be able to do projects from home. So your network is your best opportunity to find out about jobs that are out there. So do your networking, network with ATW. In fact, ATW, you all might want to have a session, and maybe you've got one planned about how to help the people that are out of work, because there are people hiring. Not as much as they did, obviously, but some areas have been hit really hard, like retail and restaurants and that kind of thing. But there are other companies that are doing well, and they need technology people. So don't give up. Know that, and the other thing is that they might not be hiring today, but they might have something going on tomorrow. And if you have contacted them and sent them your resume, then possibly they'll call you in the future. So again, highest and best use of time, network, and then for the future, you're still sending out your resume so everybody knows that you're looking.
Yeah, right. We're having there's a bunch of companies today doing a virtual job fair. So I will send that through I'll send it to our DFW ATW page. So anyone that's on, go ahead and click on, because it's actually happening right now throughout the day. And also next week's Connect Fridays will be about careers. So join us next week for that. I see one that is saying, hold on one second. I see another one coming in. Do you think that once business resumes, you'll see a big increase for requests for temporary staffing?
Yes, I think we'll see a huge increase. And the reason why is that after the last 2 recessions I've been through, companies were very hesitant to hire a bunch of people full time. They just were, even though things were improving. They wanted to be very cautious. So instead of hiring a bunch of people back full time, they decided to opt for hiring people temporary. And as you all know, probably, I would bet a lot of you got a permanent job through working temporary. It's a great way for you to both ways, for you to check out the company check out you. So don't discount temporary work, because it can be a great, and even if they don't need you or hire you full time, you can get a great reference from that person if you've done a good job. So it helps you with your job search that way as well.
All right, let's see if we have any more. I don't see any new ones, but those who are on, I will definitely say to make sure you keep checking the meeting and events for the dfwatw.org. We have leadership programs that are still going on. They're doing virtual sessions. Our Women Who Lead program is specifically for people who are trying to improve in their careers and things like that. There will be virtual sessions about branding and all that are catered to, and networking, even in this virtual environment. So, Christy, I'm gonna leave it to you to close us out here.
Yeah, so thanks everybody. Thank you, Valerie. Always great to hear your words of wisdom. And I totally agree. We have to have fun in the moment. We have to, I keep telling my team, get up, walk around, make sure that you go walk the dogs or just take a break and get away from your desk. I'm excited that next week we have Trudy Van Horn. We're going to talk about careers, whether you're in one now or you're in transition now. So she has some great advice. So join us next week. We will be posting that on our social media channels shortly. So you should be looking for that in the next couple of days and register for that. And please come back and join us again. Also, when we close out, I think that you should get a quick survey, really, I think 3 questions. So if you'd take a minute just to give us some feedback on today's session, and we'd love to hear other topics as well that you would be interested in. So, and share your ideas. Go to our Facebook page and share some ideas that you have had for things that have been successful to help motivate you and your team during this time. So thanks again, everybody, for your time today, and looking forward to see you next week on Connect Fridays. Bye.